Okay. What's your last name? What is it?
None of your business.
What is it? Dixon?
None of your business.
They both respond that they don't have IDs. Then the officer begins to ask for identifying information in lieu of IDs, such as names.
What's your first name? Richard? What's your first name?
Chris is initially cooperative, and he provides his last name. Then he stops and begins to ask questions.
Why are you guys explaining this?
Okay.
The officer then stops the questioning. He then walks behind the car and calls for backup to, quote, step it up.
6 Frank Rivers en route, step it up.
Oh, yeah, step it up.
The officer then walks back over to the open passenger side window and he says,
Okay, I'm going to ask you one more time for your ID, and then you're getting out of the car.
Notably, the officer doesn't actually order Chris or the passenger out of the car at this time. He does instruct Chris to take his hand out of his pocket, and Chris complies, showing both hands to the officer, demonstrating that he is not a threat.
Okay, you say your last name's Dixon. What's your first name?
Do you have a reason?
Yes, I do. Someone called you in that's possibly intoxicated, running over stuff. I come here. There was a twist.
Who called me in?
I don't know. There was a twist team that sent a... Get your hand out of your pocket.
What?
Get your hand out of your pocket. Turn the car off and give me the keys.
Chris asks, am I under arrest? The officer replies, you're about to be.
Give me the keys to the car. They're in the ignition.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, get your hands out of your pockets, dude.
No, dude. Why did you pull?
Get your hands out of your pockets.
Pull me over. Am I under arrest?
You're about to be.
As he's saying this, unbeknownst to Chris, another officer, the backup, has arrived and he's walking up behind the driver's side door of Chris's car. The first officer then directs the newly arrived backup officer to, quote, get him out of the car. And he also notes that the passenger is also refusing to identify himself.
Am I?
You're about to be. Get him out of the car. Get him out of the car. There's a passenger too. Passenger's not identifying either. Get out of the car.
So what you just watched was the missing 5 minutes of footage. Everything that happened prior to the body cam video of the other officer beginning, which is what Chris had originally posted on Facebook. So now, looking at the body cam of this new responding officer, we see him jerk open the driver's side door and immediately grab onto Chris's neck. And he says, let's go, motherfucker.
Let's go, Get out! Get out of the car! Go! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
Then, within seconds, he punches Chris in the face repeatedly. Chris keeps his hands where they are visible in somewhat of a surrender position, though he still does have his right hand gripped onto the steering wheel of the car. It's not until that point, after the officer had already repeatedly punched Chris in the face, that the officer then orders Chris out of the car. The officer then aims his taser at Chris as Chris's hands are held up with one in the surrender position and the other still gripped onto the steering wheel of the car. At this point, this officer had been at that scene less than 1 minute, and only about 11 seconds had elapsed since first making contact with Chris. Then, around 15 seconds from the point of the first contact, as Chris has his hands up and they're visible, he then gets tased via the taser's dart mode, and Chris cries out in pain.
Really?
Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Taser, taser, taser!
Ah!
Get out of the car! Hey, we got our hands on! Put the hands on!
No!
Put the hands on!
Dude, you guys had his taser?
Get on the ground, dude!
For that?
Get on the ground!
Both officers then repeatedly scream for Chris to get out of the car, which he then begins to attempt to do. As Chris struggles to get out of the car, there's very little space to step out between the vehicles. The officers are aiming their tasers at him, threatening to tase him again, and now screaming at him to get on the ground. The one officer then begins to put gloves on, and he instructs the other officer not to tase him, that he's going to handle it. Then he walks towards Chris and says, "I'm gonna you up, dude."
You're gonna get lit up again.
Don't let him up. I got him.
So get on the ground now. Literally.
I got him. So don't shoot. I got him.
Get on the ground. Serious?
No you up, dude. Keep it up. Keep it up. Turn around. Hands on your back.
All right.
Hands on your back. Hands on your back. Yeah, I think hands, dude.
The officer grabs onto him, places him in sort of a headlock, and then basically throws him several feet away down onto the asphalt. Chris lands on his back, and then they grab him again, and now they tell him to be on his stomach, even though they just threw him onto his back. And you can see that Chris's face is already bloodied, and also the back of his head appears to have impacted the asphalt when he was thrown down to the ground. The two officers then jump on top of him and tell him to stop resisting, to get on his back, though they are on top of him as they're saying it, holding onto his arms and placing their weight on him. One of the officers says, "Tase him again, dude."
Tase him again, dude.
I have not done it.
Stop resisting! Knock it off!
Meanwhile, the passenger is standing outside the passenger side door of Chris's car since he was told to get out of the car. Although he does nothing other than what he was told to do, the same officer who slammed Chris points at the passenger and says, "Sit on the ground or I'm gonna f you up too."
Hey! Stay there! Get on the ground! You sit on the ground right now, I'm gonna f you up too. Sit on the ground! Sit on the ground! Now! Hook him up. I'm gonna f this dude up too.
When? I'm not?
Knock it off! Stay down! Continue.
Then the heavily tattooed officer goes over and he grabs onto that guy, shoves him face first down onto the concrete, and he tells him not to move, and he says, "I'll f***ing beat your ass."
Hey, get over here! I got him. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. What's going on? Get on the ground.
What are you doing here?
Knock it off. Do not move. Beat your ass.
Meanwhile, it's unclear whether that guy is under arrest, what he's under arrest for. He's handcuffed behind his back, face down. So the second officer had only been on the scene for a little over 4 minutes, and he had already engaged in a significant amount of violence. Was this level of violence necessary? Was it justified?
Dude, you guys are on fire.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, look at the blood on my
Hey, turn. I know. I'm searching it.
Attack and copy the objective. Ground and Charlie to call.
What are we doing wrong? Under arrest.
For what? For what?
Let's go. No, dude, I would put something down here.
No.
What are you doing? Sit on the side.
Are you guys on the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I will grab those. They're not. Okay.
Now YouTube has brought you Spins On, exclusively on DraftKings Casino. New players play $5 and get 1,500 total prizes from your choice slot. Being able to compete with those lives is really the best part of the job. Because they're really free and the things that they love, and they really just change their self-esteem and their overall outlook on life. I think
Dude, you f***ing slammed my face off the fucking pavement.
Listen. You get out of the car, turn around, put handcuffs on, you're done. That's it. You would get f***ed up like this. For what? Not listening! It's not hard! I fucking do it like you do it! Yes, I do it like you fucking listen! Dude, I didn't do nothing. Okay, you're done. You're done. We're doing every stuff they Are you seriously? Yeah, it was serious. Listen was the first part. What am I doing? Are you going to? Jesus. Just stop talking, please.
Moving on objective Alpha.
You're under arrest, dude. Are you
Medic!
No. You don't get excited anymore, dude. You're under arrest.
Targeting objective Delta.
Yeah, you are. You're going to jail today.
Medic!
Dude, you have a fucking threat army. What's like that? Welcome to Lyon County, dude. I can clean this shit. Dude, what did I do?
We lost objective Bravo.
Really? I don't know. He's gonna fight the whole time. Yeah. Get the gun and we'll put it on the
Neutralized objective Charlie.
Were you ever charged with any sort of driving offenses?
No, it was open container and resisting that I went down to resisting. And then I got transferred for that.
I don't think he's pushing DUI because I don't think he was just hanging out.
So they didn't charge you with DUI in this incident either?
Objective Delta.
What the fuck is this?
And if you're understanding what is the resisting give you a
We have secured more objectives. Let's hold it.
Grab what you can!
The issue here is whether and the suspect order him out of the car, or even to arrest him for failing to comply with police directives. The issue is whether the manner in which was accepted under the circumstances was a violation of the Fourth Amendment. This was not a very serious situation. This was a report of bad driving, possibly a DUI investigation, and then it turned into a situation of alleged failure to provide. Eventually, failure to get out of the car. This was not an emergency of any sort. Nobody had been threatened with any harm, yet these officers went almost immediately to violence, including punching in the face repeatedly, tasing, and slamming this guy's head down on the concrete, which are all significant levels of force, not the trivial amount of force. Nevada is in the 9th federal circuit, which held that mere refusal to comply with an officer's order is not sufficiently serious so as to justify tasing or other intermediate levels of force. Ravens v. Shelton is a 2013 case from the 9th Circuit where police officers were denied qualified immunity for the suspect the officer's order, and then the officers tased him in Dartmouth, just like happened here. In fact, cases in the 9th Circuit dating back to 2001 have established that a failure to fully or immediately comply with an officer's orders neither rises to the level of active resistance nor justifies the application of a non-trivial amount of force. In other words, if a suspect just isn't listening or refusing to comply with orders, but otherwise isn't actively physically resisting or threatening the officers, only a small level of force is justified at that point, which does not include tasing repeatedly punching or slamming somebody onto the ground via their head. There actually was a surprisingly similar Ninth Circuit case, Rice versus City of Morehouse from 2021, where it was a traffic stop. The guy refused to provide ID, and he had to be extracted from the car. He was passively resisting by not wanting to be extracted out of the car, though he was not threatening the physical safety of the officers. Yet he was tased and slammed to the ground, similar to here. In that case, the court denied the officers qualified immunity based on their analysis of the gram factors. 1, the severity of the crime at issue. 2, whether there's an immediate safety threat to anyone. And 3, whether the suspect is actively resisting fleeing. Here was their reasoning. Factor 1, although the suspect refused to cooperate, he didn't yell, use profanity, attempt to flee, or attempt to harm the officer, or reach for any sort of weapon. Therefore, a jury could find that an officer intended to flee an emergency situation. And absent an emergency,
Hey, thank you!
will not support the use of a significant level of force, even where is suspected. Factor 2, the jury could find that the suspect did not present an immediate threat to the safety of the officers or others. During the scene, the officer left the car's window and reapproached several times, indicating there was no suggestion of the suspect possibly being armed or dangerous. Additionally, the officer told the other officers there that she needed assistance because the suspect didn't give his license or follow instructions. No claim was made at that time between the officers at the scene that there was any specific safety concern at play, other than just non-compliance in a traffic investigation. Again, this was the reasoning in that other case, Rice versus Morehouse. Then we will compare that to this case. Factor 3. Lastly, a jury could find that the suspect was not actively resisting arrest or attempting to evade arrest by flight. The court distinguished between active resistance and passive resistance. The suspect refused to exit his car was considered by the court to be passive resistance, similar to removing a protester who refuses to stand up. Therefore, the court held a jury could find that a substantial amount of force being used was unjustified. Again, that's binding case law now in the Ninth Circuit, which is applicable here. So let's see if our case fits within that. Very similar to that case and the other cases I've cited. Although Chris, for whatever reason, refused or failed to comply with the officer's orders or directives, he wasn't being belligerent. He was calm, he was somewhat cooperative. There was no indication that this was an emergency situation. He was suspected of traffic violations and possible DUI. And that just does not alone support the use of a significant level of force under the binding case law in that circuit. Also similar, there's no indication here of any
You're a lifesaver!
the first officer should have ordered Chris out of the car from the very beginning, but he chose not to indicate any immediate safety threat. He didn't make the ejection. He also left the passenger side window and used his radio as an indicating that he didn't have any reason to believe at that time that the suspect was armed or dangerous. And when the backup officer arrived, he just said get him out of the car, and that the reason was that they were not identified. Nothing was mentioned to either officer as to any potential immediate safety threat, just non-compliance in a traffic investigation. Also, there was no attempt made by Chris to evade arrest by flight. He was somewhat cooperative, and he did grab an officer's and refused to get out of the car. Eventually, he did get out of the car after being tased, but then he did get on the ground as he was ordered to. But despite this, he was not attempting to escape. He wasn't trying to fight the officer. He just wasn't following directions. But the officer mentioned numerous times to each other and he felt like doing the answer. It could be he didn't understand. There could be any number of other things that explain somebody's failure to follow directions under those circumstances. But this alone,
Grab what you can!
with the other circumstances, such as being a relatively non-serious, non-emergency situation, absent any actual threat or fighting with the officer, it just does justify the violent level of force that was used now that you've seen the full missing 5 minutes that led up to the does that change your opinion? Someone was telling me that my audience has just an unbelievable amount of comments back and forth on every video, just discussing the video. I think that's very true. In fact, I always learn something by just scanning.
Grab what you can!
So let's discuss this. There's probably two main camps here. One, you should have complied, you didn't, so F around
Our forces are attacking
Or two,
objective Charlie.
the cop acted like a bully and the amount of force used was excessive. I'll just point out that one of those viewpoints is based on your feelings. Whoever you are out there, your feelings on cops in general, this particular guy being arrested. I'm not saying it's wrong, the feelings are wrong, but I'm saying it's based on your feelings. The other viewpoint, which I'm arguing for, is based on applying facts objectively to the law. Even if our own personal feelings may go in a different direction. It takes maturity to elevate respect for the law over just giving into our feelings about people and situations. Camp one, let me ask you this. Why can't it be both things? Why can't both things be true? Can't it both be true that Chris should have complied, and it also true that the officer acted like a bully and used an excessive amount of force? And the reality is, that's the vast majority of excessive force cases. In almost every one of them, some level of reasonable force is justified to take the person into custody or to protect the public generally, but they go way beyond what the law allows. This is not about armchair quarterbacking or judging officers with 20/20 hindsight. It's about having standards and enforcing the law. It's not anti-police. That's pro-police, pro-law and order. You've all seen cops like this one, highly aggressive, heavily tattooed arms, saying things like, I'm gonna f you up, and mother for this, and mother for that. You can just sort of tell that they seem to get off on using violence. And usually, in that is an easy target. In other words, they're a bully. It's easy to be a bully when you have a badge and a gun, and the full weight of the law behind you, as well as your buddies right there on the scene, also with badges and guns and tasers. In addition to attracting some people who want to save lives and help their community, that job can also attract people who are there for the wrong reasons. They want to get in fights, especially easy fights, where all the odds are in their favor. Or even in fights where the victim has little or no ability to even fight back or shield themselves. This is the reason I wanted to show you this video. You saw how the second officer rolled up onto the scene, and within just a few seconds went straight and then afterwards they're basically high-fiving each other about it.
Country's still being controlled by the enemy.
This is what?
That is?
Yeah.
You sure?
I think I threw an elbow. I don't know.
Nothing more. The world's most award detective proudly proved that the world is supposed to follow.
Whether you're a professional technician or simply take pride in maintaining your own cars, Harbor Freight offers quality auto tools to meet your every need at prices
Our forces control more objectives than the
from
enemy.
floor jacks and tool sets to diagnostic scanners, polishers, shop supplies, and more. Harbor Freight, your automotive destination. I found a place.
Be advised, we no longer hold the post.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I just take a side.
The enemy has secured more objectives. Let's rally and counter.
You good? Whatever, dude. So you don't gotta go over. Hey, dude, you trying to get up? Yeah. Alright, one second. Alright, I'll move some cars for you. Hey, Lieutenant. Could you leave it one place so that we can use? If you don't mind. Thank you. Oh, these are the two right here. So one was in a pile.
Take what you can carry!
Anything else is larger. Thank you, sir.
Sheriff, you publicly defended the actions of this officer who grabbed a man by the neck and then repeatedly punched him in the face within just a few seconds of first meeting him. Sheriff, is it appropriate for your deputies to threaten to people up? Is that how you expect your deputies to treat people in your community? Does that represent you well? Sheriff, you support your deputies completely ignoring binding federal excessive force case law. Failing to cite these and failure to immediately comply with getting out of the car in a traffic investigation, even a DUI, does not justify a violent beatdown. That is the law. This was not an emergency situation. There was no immediate safety threat to anyone. This was just demonstrating a culture of violence and a culture of total disregard of constitutional rights that currently exists in your department. Things sort of went sideways pretty quickly. Why do you think that?
So on the camera, this dude shows up also, and then he's basically trying to get me out of the car, and then he hits me in the face. And I think that's where it escalated to that point, and I was trying to, like, I was kind of thinking, like I got punched a few times, and it's almost like I didn't have time to respond to anything. I was in the process of talking to the other deputy, and at that point, like, my door opens, and then I turn around and I'm hit in the face, and they're telling me I'm not complying, but they're hitting, like...
Objective Delta taken by hostiles.
It's a little hard to do.
Mission is at risk. I need all elements on the attack.
I walk up. So I walk. I roll up. I stop. I get out. Trevor's like sitting like this against the passenger window. He's like, driver needs to come out. I got this guy. I was like, okay. So I open the door. He's just sitting there, looks up and looks out. He's like, I'm not getting out. So I grabbed him. He kept fighting. So I did two. Just pop out right in his face. He kind of like did this. So I took the out and pop. Ripped it out. One didn't connect. So I got another one pop. And then I think that one stuck a little bit because he tensed up. So I put that away, attempted to, and he was popping out. I was like, cool. So put this way, set that grab gloves. He came at me, and I grabbed him, and I stuck him. Like, I whipped him. He went far, and that's when we got on top and started rolling. But he just went with it, and he has to be high because those days are doing shit. Go for it. Huh? No. Yeah, even if somebody else has to use sports, you guys still play these sports? Yeah, he's, besides drunk, he's on something, because those tasers didn't hit, dude. They locked him up for a second and he ripped them out, so.
You want to stay up here? You were going to get some food anyways.
Pastor keeps looking at me from the window to lay back down.
You want to stay up here until he gets back?
He's in the driver's seat all day after they finally roll his window down. Keeps reaching his pockets. I'm like, dude, show me your hand. Wouldn't listen, like, give me the keys. He's like, man, fuck you. I'm like, who are you? He's like, fuck you. I'm like, that's what you got here. I'm like, get him out. And that's what the town.
I hit him two good solid ones to the face.
Yeah.
And the tasing a little bit, I got him out, and then had to back up a little bit.
Yeah, do that, man. You get some food. You got some.
Huh?
Let her back so I'm going to follow up.
You gonna follow him up? Alright. Gosh, man. Never have a decent day in Fernley.
Huh?
So you can never have a decent day in Fernley.
According to Chris, he did end up taking a plea, and he also waited too long to file a civil lawsuit, so that is what it is.
He has pled guilty to resisting arrest, but on social media, Nixon claims he was forced to make that plea due to inadequate legal representation.
But it still happened, and now it's out there. Hopefully the sheriff will clean things up, though judging by the tattoos everywhere and even earrings on male police officers in this department, which I don't think I've ever actually even seen before, I highly doubt that that is going to happen. But let me know in the comments, what team are you in? And also tell me if I need anything else.
world, but in North America, they're almost nowhere. But now there's one in my garage, and in this video I'm going to be making it into the tiniest piece for camping. Even though this thing's small, I'm doing everything you need for a night away. Bed, and even a touchscreen TV. This fall, I bought this tiny Japanese pickup truck off a guy on the marketplace. This is a 2005 Suzuki Carry, weighing in at a whopping 1,400 pounds, standing 5'7" tall, and weighing 49. Oh yeah, it's also a right-hand drive, which messes me up every time I go to get in. I bought this mainly because it's cool, and I've always wanted to make a camper in the back of one of these tiny trucks, so let's get to it.
Take what you can carry.
To start off, I had to take a bunch of measurements of the bed of the truck so I could design my camper accordingly. And then start building. For the framing, I was planning to use this 2x2 window deeper, but after bringing them home and measuring them, I found an inch and 3/8 thick, and I need a full 1.5 inch. So instead I got this 2x6 that is 1.5 inch thick, and I used the table saw to with the true 1.5 inch thickness. You'll see in a little bit why I care so much that this is an exact inch and a half. This first piece is the core of the housing piece of fiber that's a subfloor, passing out of the center. I'm trying to pay attention to weight since the truck doesn't have a very large payload capacity. This is pretty much the only plywood I'm using in this group. And the rest of the structure will be kind of a foam fiberglass mixture that I'll show you shortly. Now working on the bottom side of the floor, I have to fill in the gaps between the framing, and for that I'm going to be using some of this 1.5 inch rigid foam insulation. I cut my pieces to size with a track saw since I have one that you easily just use a normal circular saw strip. Pop it into place between the framing to perfectly fill that void. And this is why I spent so much time milling my own lumber before to get them to be exactly 1.5 inches thick. Since that's the thickness of this foam, everything is basically nice and flush and don't need too much support. And this board piece is done for now, and obviously we'll get some more work on this later on, so let's move on to the walls. So the wall frame is going to be built really similar to the wall with some difference. A major difference is up at the front I have this raised. wondering how these tanks are so ready for So now that that piece fits in place, I'm using a pretty simple trick. I'm using a screw and a string, then just holding the pencil at the right length to create that curve. This took a bit of trial and error, but after a few times I got it just about right. Now I can fasten this piece into place. I also added some cross bracing in the corners of each of the walls to give this thing some lateral support, holding it square, and all these are the dry fit. Everything looking and fitting good. All over the wall. I tried to cut these panels pretty snug so that they fit pretty securely between the studs. And since these wall panels are open on both sides and don't have any plywood, they do kind of wiggle back and forth a little bit. So to hold this until it's fiberglass, I just use the pad wheel and just shot some nails into the frame to basically pat this in place and hold it together. Before I assemble these walls into a camper shape, I'm going to be fiberglass in the inside face because it's much easier to do this now when they're flat and that's all pieced together. So I'm using a sander to go around and sand all the foam flush to the studs, as well as take off the glossy layer on the top of the foam. Smooth this out. This is a little trick I learned in a video a few years ago. You can actually just take some regular drywall mud. I got this lightweight stuff so that the final camper isn't quite as heavy. So smooth out all of the blocks. Just install this specifically like I did on the interior wall of the house. Really smooth as possible. And really the thing that we do is all just custom parts consistent with structure. And yeah, if I just left it like this, absolutely would. But this is basically just to take this and smooth like this fiberglass, so it looks nice and flat and perfect when it's finished. And that means that drywall is going to be completely smooth. Fiberglass and it's going to chip or break apart to it. It's just a cute little hack I learned on one of my camper videos that it's still really great. Here again. Next, I need to mix up some epoxy resin, but I just let this in 105 and just pouring all the steps in the can. This stuff's not super cheap, and it's the true can cut to it a little bit. You can probably find a more cost-effective alternative on $90. Anyway, I'm just going to apply that onto the wall using a regular paint roller and put it one down by the other. Another alternative called poor man's fiberglass, basically. If you choose that something similar to fiberglass and a better quarter price, so I think that's some research on it. Or even better, here's a video where I use it. But for this one, I'm using real fiberglass, so I have this 10-ounce fiberglass sheet. It's also 60 inches wide, so I don't have to put that really soon. I wrote this all over top of my wall panels and then make sure I got out most of the wrinkles. And then I can drill this some more epoxy on top of here and use the trowel to spread it out evenly across the fiberglass sheet.
We're winning the fight. Maintain our offensive.
And then I go back and scrape with the trowel to take off any of the excess epoxy so that your job next to the skin. So after about 4 or 5 hours, I come back and this epoxy will be to the point where it's now fairly hard, but it's still a little bit malleable. This is the perfect time to trim back these edges because if I wait till it's cold, I'll still cut this off with the saw. Where now So first things first, I'll be priming this surface. So I have some of this bullseye 1, 2, 3. Then I'll be rolling that on to the Next, I have this exterior satin paint that I'm going to be using as a finishing coat on both the inside and the outside of the panel. I'm just finishing the exterior surface right now, and then I'll do the outside all the way once the whole thing is assembled and belonging on. Again, I just roll this on with a normal paint roller, and then it's light coverage without being able to see through it though. And after that dries up, I'm ready to begin assembling this thing.
Enemy attack is underway on Bravo.
Panel, I have the plywood side up to the subfloor, and I have already done the fiberglass on the bottom of this so that I can flip the whole camper over later and then doing the rest of the exterior fiberglass. To install the wall, I'm first using a couple of these straps and wood screws to the edge of the floor panel so that I can line up the wall perfectly flat with this. And then using a little impactor, I'm putting a diamond screw down through the wall framing, then up to the floor. Have you seen all the wall panels together, and that's pretty much it. Pretty simple stuff.
Enemy attack is underway on Bravo. We need to defend the back objective.
So let's just go ahead and go for now, so that I can still work on this interior, and I'll have to touch on but this is looking good. Already some nuts, and so let's break that up a little bit. I got these 1x6 chip secret panels at Home Depot. So let me just put together like this and then do this wall panel. So you don't have to use a 6x6 and the secret, which is already really nice. So it's just
You never got wine.
We're tiny on your side, but a piece of mind does too. At Amica, we make protecting you impossible. When we bend under all the things that protect us, the principles we
Stomach cough and headaches. Mucinex gives you powerful relief. So long, mucusy symptoms.
Mucusy symptoms.
Interior, and a while ago I took some The problem with that is that they end up being really heavy because you have a lot of plywood being used that isn't really necessary. So for this camper, I'm trying this new method, framing all of the unseen spaces using 2x2 So now I can install this base plywood on the rest of the frame, and I just brad nailed it in place, and then I use some of these pocket hole screws through the 2x2s to rigidly secure this plywood. I went back and filled any exposed nail holes with some wood filler, and then I have these 3/4 inch thick pieces of maple that I cut out. I'm basically going to assemble these into a rectangle, and this is going to be the front framing of the cabinet that'll house a door inside of it. So I use this cracked pocket hole jig to drill some pocket holes in the pieces, and then fasten them together into this rectangle using some pocket hole screws. door for that opening. Just making this door the exact same way I make kitchen cabinet doors. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail in this video because you're editing in the camper and all that kitchen. But you can check out this video if you need to know exactly how to make kitchen cabinets. Anyway, now I'm just shake this back cabinet door, so I'm going to give it a finished sand, riveting on the edges. Pockets on the inside. It's a pretty sleek little cabinet, right? So it's basically all the plumbing and electrical is going to be housed inside this cabinet, so this is about Now let's start work on the bed slash couch. Using some more 2x2s and building up this bed platform, which basically just looks like another framed wall with a bunch of stuff. Then I cut up a bunch more of these 2x2s to the same length for a bunch of vertical supports for the bed. For now, I'm just going to tape these into place, but I'll later fasten them once I'm sure everything fits properly. So all of these will just transfer that horizontal load from the bed platform down to the floor, and I'll still be able to access in underneath here by lifting up the mattress. Pretty simple system. And that's the basic idea for the bed framing done, but I'm obviously not going to leave it looking like this, so I have some more of the 1/2-inch plywood. And I'm cutting out some pieces to make an L-shaped base that'll cap around the outside of the frame. Underneath the bed, there's going to be a couple of drawers that pull out, so I have to cut some openings in the plywood. To do that, I measured out my opening, and I'm using the track saw to plunge into the wood and cut just my cut line. And then I have to use the jigsaw to finish up the corners of each cut. Now I need to deal with the exposed plywood edges. This is going to get painted so I don't have to get too perfect in finishing this, so what I'm going to do is use some wood filler and spread it all over the exposed edge, and then use my finger to really work that into the plywood. I had to do this on the top edge as well as the edges around where the drawers are going to slide in and out. And after that dries up, I can take some sandpaper to sand that wood filler flush, and that should leave a pretty smooth surface under the paint. After assembling my two pieces and some finishing sanding and touches, this piece is ready for its dry fit. And that looks like it's going to work pretty good. Everything fits pretty nicely, so I'm going to take it all out for some paint. First off, I gave the wood a coat of that same bullseye 1, 2, 3 before. For the paint, I'll be using this Sherwin-Williams Emerald paint.
I'll be using that Sherwin-Williams paint.
It used to be the best for consumer grade. It cures up nice and hard and stretchy.
Hey, let me tell you something. If I whoop your motherfucker in
So I use it on pretty much everything.
hard as shit. That shit hurts getting up that quick. Fuck this armpit, nigga. Take it with me. Nah, yo, kill the motherfucker.
So now I can just find all these storage furniture into the camper. Starting off with the cabinet. And then the couch. I screwed all of this in the wall starts, floor starts, and then I started adding some of the framing for the drawers that I installed. I cut up some more of that half-inch plywood to the sizes that I need.
I would break you.
And then I'm going to add some edge banding on the top side of these pieces. So I have this maple edge banding, which is basically just a veneer strip of maple with some hot glue in the back. And I can iron that onto the wood.
You shall die.
Trim it flush and give it a little sand over there.
Fucking up the golf course and shit, don't
Now I can mount the drawers into that couch framing, so first I set the drawer slides I'm mounting onto the side of the open. Next I'm just using a scrap piece of wood and then setting it into a triple base. This is just another piece of plywood that I finished up to paint the same color. Lastly, I added on
got you.
And that's a fully installed under the drawer.
Yeah. Kind of talk
I'm
about
working down here, I added in this receptacle. This is actually made for a desk, so it's an all-in-one unit. I just have to plug it into the power supply once I have it. So I have one more drawer to add in here. This is a big long drawer that's going to pull up from the back of the camper and basically act as a big drawer table and some storage. So I built this up pretty much the same way as the last one, just bigger. And I added in the piece of the wood that I finally shrunk down from the top edge. Slide in these plywood tops. And this essentially gives me a drawer with storage that also doubles as a Now, I can install it in the back of the camper. This is just big, heavy duty.
Objective Charlie has been moved.
It look like I'm just clear like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Fucking.
And there's my storage systems. They're all fully done.
Storage these net. Run, no motherfucking snake right behind you, nigga, run! I got I got tanks. Them motherfuckers is shooting off.
Be advised, hostile troops have secured Northeast.
That shit out of here, they can't drive shit. What? Dang. Wait, what the fuck even?
Now we can install this onto the cabin. With the piece set in roughly the position that I wanted, I marked out the hinge placement, and then popped off this satellite portion of the hinge and mounted it on the cabin,
off.
and then the hinge just separated. So that was pretty good. I'm not going to put my full loading to lift this up down, so it's going to slow down a bit to the line. So this makes that all very accessible. So it's kind of tough.
Thank you.
I found this cool This thing is going to be an overnight setup.
Enemy contacting my layout.
Finish, giving it a good white down with a microfiber cloth.
You would
And now
die.
it's ready for odors.
Ah! That's your fucking soul, bitch.
This stuff was a little crusty on top, but after I peeled that away, there's some good waxy paste underneath.
Nigga that peel it away to the night, waxy paste. Damn, what the fuck is this? Goddamn, the rock. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
This takes a bit of elbow grease. This stuff's pretty tough, but after a few minutes, I got it down to this nice satin sheen.
Elbow green,
Now this can be installed on the cabinet.
elbow green.
For the sink piece, I just used some silicone around the top of the cabinet frame,
Enemy attack is underway on
and a
Delta.
couple screws to hold this in from the bottom.
Attention, we need attack support
Now I
on
put
the
a good bead of silicone around the sink opening and drop the sink into place.
Hostiles now hold more objectives.
So like I was talking about earlier, you can cover up this sink when it's not being used, and it came with this almost walnut colored woodish board, and it actually matched pretty close, but instead I'm going to take this over and use that sink cutout piece to cut out this shape in that same walnut as the rest of the countertop.
Yeah, see? Top dog got the belly. See? Yeah. Get the fuck off. That shit out of here.
So with that, I have an interesting access door to the door because of my phone. Starting off with this 12-volt pressure pump. I'm just using some specs plate and brass fittings to make up a discharge sensor. It basically just comes out of the pump outflow and then just in these two faucet valves. And if you've never used PEX before, it's really easy. You just clamp these rings around the pipe and fitting, and it's pretty much always waterproof. Both of these are just teed into the same water line because I'm not going to have a hot and cold water tank. It's all the same water. Then I'll be able to attach the sink supply lines right onto these valves. On the pump inlet, I just attach this flexible vinyl piping that'll suck water out of the storage tank, and the pump will pressurize it and feed it into the sink through those supply lines. It's pretty simple. To store the fresh water and the gray water, I got two of these 5-gallon concrete storage tanks. Exactly that, store water, whether it's dirty or clean. I'm going to feed my supply and drain line through the lid so that the tanks are still removable. So I just drilled through the proper size hole. And there are those two tanks that place perfectly underneath the sink. Lastly, I hooked the pump into the power supply, which I'm going to talk about next. This is an EcoFlow River 3. It has about 300 watt hours of power capacity, and it's going to be my power bank to run all the electronics of the camper. This has all the AC and DC outlets that I need, as well as the ports to plug in solar panels and simple AC charging. I also added on this modular extra battery, which actually gives me a total of about 900 watt hours of power capacity. You could build your own battery system for this, but honestly, these power stations have gotten so cheap and they're an all-in-one solution, you don't really have to do that much work to set them up. Just setting that in there is pretty much a setup, it's ready to go. I just need to distribute its power around. So to do that, I first have this 12-volt fuse panel, and then I'll be connecting that to the power bank using this car plug, which is compatible with the EcoFlow. So on the raw ends of this plug, I'm putting some ring terminals on here to make it easier to connect to the fuse panel. All you do is just crimp these on and you're good to go.
Crimpulation.
And now I can connect these to the positive and negative terminals. Pick the appropriate size fuse for whatever I'm installing, and that just pops in that fuse slot here, and that'll protect this whole circuit. And that's pretty much it for DC power. I just connect the lines from each appliance right into the fuse block. AC is even simpler. I just have a power bar that's going to plug in and socket on it. And then I can just plug in the receptacles and the TV and whatever other AC things right into this.
Our troops are attacking Bravo.
So I have the fuse box and the power bar inside here.
Need a medic!
Plug them into the EcoFlow.
Control of Echo.
And then I can start making it all run. Speaking of controls, so the solution I came up with that was pretty cheap was this Amazon Echo Show 21-inch screen. This is a touchscreen home planner thing, but it also has smart TV function, so I can watch Netflix and YouTube and whatever on here.
Our attack on enemy
It's just about an inch off the wall, so it should be perfect. Bracket into the wall, and the TV just snaps right into this. I also made sure I had some wood blocking and framing behind this so that I wasn't just screwing into foam and fiberglass. So this screen is powered by this special adapter, and my original thought was I was just going to cut the wires and solder an extension in here. So I had to buy another adapter, and then I got this 10-foot extension cord that I can plug in, and then this extension cable through the wall off to the TV to power it. Speaking of running the cables through the wall, I already have all the framing closed in with insulation, so I'm going to be routing this in using this tiny straight sleeve router bit. And from the outside, I'm basically just going to trace on the path that I need to run this wire, and routing down a 1/4-inch slot that I can plug in and run the wire.
There! The building's full like a second! Fuck! Need a medic!
All the wires will lead back to this one area that feeds into that cabinet inside where the power bank's housed.
Need a medic!
For most of my utilities, I'm using this 18-gauge 2-wire silicone wire with a couple exceptions like Amazon TV cable. After I've fed the wire into the slot, I can hot glue it in place to make sure it doesn't pop out.
Cheers! Thank you!
So I routed in a bunch more slots for all my wiring, like the lights and the vent and the TV. Some of this wiring had to run to the ceiling, which doesn't exist yet, so I just ran it up to the top here and fed it through the wall. And then a bunch of wire on the other side that I connected through the ceiling. I also have to add this light switch, so on the interior wall I marked where I wanted that, and then routed in this maybe 3/4-inch tip. Wire running into there, I can connect in the switch and screw it in place. I also connected a light onto the end of the circuit here temporarily just to make sure everything's working and there's no issues, because once this is fiberglassed over, this is unchangeable. Lastly, I've looked through some fairly big ones that have a TV for the AC power. The TV and mount it and make sure that's working. Like I said before, this isn't actually a TV, it's like a home base that you have in a kitchen usually. So it's touchscreen, but that actually works perfectly for this small space since I'm sitting on the couch right in front of it.
Yo, we brought that back.
So now I need to start making the ceiling and the back wall. Starting off with the ceiling, I'm milling up some more lumber. This time I'm actually making it 2 inches wide instead of 1.5 inches because I'm going to have some electrical to run through here that you'll see in a second. Other than that, I'm framing this up the exact same way and using some more 1.5 inch insulation between the studs. I'm going to have 6 12-volt hot lights in the ceiling, so before I install the ceiling wood, I'm going to run the wiring through here. I routed in some passages through the framing so I could easily feed the wiring through here without going into the foam. And that's why I wanted these boards to be 2 inches wide instead of 1.5 inches. And then I left a hoop of wire at each one of the marked light locations. For the ceiling covering, I'm using that same extra flap cedar that I used for the front wall earlier, and mounting that on with some construction adhesive and a brad nailer. I used a hole saw to pre-drill my lights so I didn't risk going into the wiring, and work my way across the ceiling. I figured it'd be way easier to mount this cedar on the workbench and then install this entire roof panel onto the camper as one piece, so that I don't have to install each board into a tight, confined space while working upwards. So now, after some wood filler and a good sand, this is ready for its Danish oil finish. So while I have the ceiling flipped right side up, I can actually install most of these pot lights. And all I have to do that is cut this hoop of wire in the middle, and then strip them back and connect all the same color wires together using one of these lever nuts. Then I can connect in the pot light wires, and the light will snap itself right into the ceiling. With my lights installed, I plugged them into a power bank temporarily just to make sure everything's working again. And now this ceiling slash roof is ready to be fitted to the camper. We set the ceiling on some temporary pieces of wood to hold it while I fastened it in place permanently, and then I can connect in that remaining electrical. I also added these 2 solar cables to the roof, so I need to feed them down through the wall and into the power cabinet. And then I can install my last wall. But first, a little bit about how that wall was made. I framed it up and insulated it using the exact same methods as all the other walls. But this wall is all at the door, so I have to add some of these rounded corners. I tried to cut these out of wood using my jigsaw, but it wasn't very square or accurate. So instead, I 3D printed the exact radii I needed, and glued them into my door corners with some construction adhesive. Then this wall is ready for insulation and the same drywall mud as before, and then a layer of fiberglass. Another thing that's different on this wall is on these interior jambs of each of the doors, I added this strip of fiberglass. And then I have this 1/4 inch piece of plywood that I'm going to use to make a flange around the inside face of the door, kind of like a doorstop. So I just have this scrap piece of wood I cut to the width I wanted, which was around a 7/8 inch, and trace this onto the plywood around the door openings. And then I can cut this out using a track saw and a jigsaw to round the corners. And then I'm applying some construction adhesive around the door opening. Then I can set my 2 wooden flanges in place, and after I make sure the measurement's about even around all 4 of the sides, I nail it down with a brad nail. Then I can flip the piece over and give it a good beat of some paintable caulking along the inside edge. And now this will act as a doorstop, but it also acts as some weatherproofing. This flange will have some weather stripping on it later, so any rain that comes in through the door crack will stop here and just drain out at the bottom. Then after a coat of that same white paint, this wall panel can be installed on the camper. So that's all the walls and ceiling installed, but there's still some obvious areas that need plugged up here, like this massive hole at the front of the camper. So working on the interior first, I'm first going to take a couple 2x2s and just screw them across here. And then I'll be adding some more of that shiplap cedar for my interior finishing. Once again, I'm just using some construction adhesive on the stud and then using a brad nail to hold that in place until the adhesive sets up. And now the interior looks good, let's deal with the outside. For this, I'm going to be using some more of that 1.5" foam insulation. The problem is this stuff's too rigid to bend. So I'm making a mark about every 1.5", and then using my track saw, I'm going to cut a slot about 3/4 of the way through the sheet. This removes enough material to allow me to bend this foam. See the scrap piece I have here that doesn't have slots has a really tough time bending, but my slotted piece curves into a light radius fairly easily. And now before I install this, I'm going to put some construction adhesive in these slots so that when I have it bent around, this adhesive will set up and basically bond that curve. I'm using some regular screws to hold the foam and then basically moving up 1 inch or 2 and throwing in another screw where the foam's level with the wood. Taking little bites like this, I can gradually bend the foam around into the exact curve of the wood. And that's a pretty easy way to add a curve to your camper. Once all the adhesive sets up, this should be locked in place, and even more so once there's fiberglass over top. And with the front sealed up, I have one more problem to deal with at the back.
Alright, obviously if I made this square, these walls would have connected a lot nicer. But I like the way the rounded look in the rendering, so I'm going to figure out some way to continue this radius all the way across.
I thought of some ways to cut this out of foam, but then I figured probably the most accurate and honestly easy way to make this is with a 3D printer.
Yeah, you got a
So I
giant fucking 3D printer.
These have the exact radius
Let's
that I
3D print the entire fucking RV, nigga.
After giving them a quick sand on each side to scuff up the glossy surfaces, I can take them over and use some more construction adhesive to stick these together. Like I said, these come out of the printer really shiny and glossy, so you really want to make sure you scuff them up with a sander to make sure the adhesive sticks as well as the epoxy and fiberglass later on. And that worked pretty good. It took about $20 in filament and a day to print, but that's a nice accurate curve.
I mean...
Now this camper body's fully constructed, time to get it ready for fiberglass. First off, I'm sanding all the surfaces, getting everything nice and flush with the wood framing, as well as taking the glossy layer off the foam. And then same as before, I'm using some more of that lightweight drywall mud to mud this over and get everything as smooth as possible for the fiberglass. coats to get everything nice and filled and smooth, especially in areas with big defects like where the wires were run and around those top curves.
Alright.
God damn.
At least Safelight could come to you for free.
They can come to me for free? That's right. Safelight can come to you for free, so you can get your windshield fixed anywhere you want at no additional cost. For free local service, go to safelight.com.
Safelight Repair, Safelight Replace.
Bitch. What?
You wished for this.
I started Maspanadas about 7 weeks ago. The personal attention we have received from MNT has been exceptional. For us, banking is key and something I don't want to have to worry about. MNT has supported us with everything we need. They actually...
Them hoes is expensive as fuck. Expensive as fuck, yo. Too many dollars.
I have an appointment with Miranda.
God damn, you got an appointment with these nuts, bitch.
Too late. Make yourself presentable. Let's go. The last two.
She ain't gonna need that list. No, stop.
Idiot. There's a window going in here. Between these two studs.
And shit, yo.
And I ran these solar wires up here, so I have to chip all this mud out. And reroute this somehow.
I'm actually glad I caught this before I did fiberglass. This was a 20-minute fix right now, and if I did the fiberglass, I'm not even sure how I would have fixed this, so good catch. Anyway, after a couple days of mudding and fixing those mistakes, everything's looking nice and smooth, and after one more final sand to get rid of any excess mud, we're ready to start fiberglassing. I'm going to be using the exact same epoxy and fiberglass cloth I used on the interior steps. And the process for this is pretty much the same, using a roller to put on my base coat of epoxy, and then rolling out the fiberglass mesh, and topping it off with some more epoxy and using a spreader to spread that around evenly. After I got the roof and back wall all done as one piece, a few hours later I can come back and trim off that excess again. And then the next day I can start up the sidewalls. It took a few days to complete this because I basically have to do a wall or two and then let that set up so I could trim off the excess. And by that time it was usually 9 at night, so I'd come back the next day and then start up the next walls. I've only used fiberglass once before, and that was years ago, but it's actually pretty satisfying. I was kind of intimidated going into this step, but it's actually pretty easy if you just take your time. With all my sides fiberglass, I took a sander and went around the edges to smooth them over. And then I mixed up a little bit more epoxy and used a small brush to go around on all of these edges and fuse the two sheets of fiberglass together. And that finishes it up. Lastly, I sanded all the surfaces, making sure to get everything as perfect as possible before paint. Also, definitely wear a mask, and I even recommend wearing some long sleeves when you're doing this, because this fiberglass is real itchy, and if you get it in your lungs, it's impossible to get out. Anyway, fiberglass complete. Once again, I'll be using this 1-2-3 primer over all of the fiberglass, rolling it on with a normal paint roller. Then after I gave it a coat, I actually gave it a quick sand to make sure the paint goes on nice and smooth. And now we're ready for a base coat. I have this Bare Ultra exterior paint in a satin sheen, and I'm painting this over the entire camper body. It took about 3 or 4 coats to get a nice even coverage with a smooth texture. And now we're on to the fun part. I use some of this gray to add a nice accent to the camper, and later on I'll use black for the trim. And this is one of my favorite parts of the entire project. It always blows my mind how much good the paint job makes a difference. A couple days ago this looked like a completely unfinished mess of camper, and now I can see the final vision coming to life. Now I need to make up some doors. Before I installed this back wall, I traced the outline of the door onto some 1/2-inch plywood and cut that down until it fit in the opening nicely. Then I'm using my planer to plane down some scrap 2x6s until I get them to exactly 1 inch thick. And then I ripped them in half with the table saw so they weren't as wide, and then I'm gluing a perimeter of these boards around the outside edge of the plywood. Now with the board and the plywood together, I have a total thickness of 1.5 inches, so this should match the wall thickness perfectly. Now I have to trim that solid wood to the exact shape of the plywood. Luckily there's a tool that makes that really easy. I can put a flush trim bit in my router, and this bearing will ride along the template, which in this case is the plywood, and perfectly replicate that edge onto whatever I'm cutting. With that sanded nice and smooth, it's time to fill in this inside cavity. I picked up some of that same pink foam insulation, but this time only 1 inch thick, and I cut it to size to pop in here snug. Some wood glue will bond this together, and I put a bunch of heavy stuff on here to hold that until that sets up. The door got the same fiberglass treatment as the rest of the body, and after some paint, it's almost ready to install. But first I need to install this latch. This is a standard RV door latch, and I marked out the cutout size. With the main holes bored out, I can do a dry fit with the latch. And then I had to use a chisel to make a little more room for this latch plate. On the other side I can install the interior faceplate, and that's a working latch and lock system. I also had to install this window inside the door, but I'm going to cover the windows in a second, so I'll just time-lapse this for now. Now the door is ready to fit onto the camper. I set it on a scrap wood spacer and then checked around the edges to make sure the gap is about the same. And then I can screw on some stainless steel hinges. On the door jamb, I have to do a bit of work to get this latch and plate to mount in here. And I had to drill out enough room for the latch and lock itself to be accepted into the jamb. I know that's working good. I'm actually going to take off the latch and these plates and paint the inside to make sure it's all waterproof, because water will inevitably get in these crevices. And while that dried, I put some of this really thin weather stripping foam tape around the inside door flange. That's the man door done. I also have this other small door that pulls out that long drawer that we installed earlier, and this one's just made fully out of wood because I didn't see any point doing foam for the size of it. It wouldn't save much weight. I'm going to put a lock on here, so I drilled through the proper size hole, and then I'm installing one of these cam locks. Now this can be fit onto the camper in a very similar way. I'm using a spacer to get that gap pretty even. And then this one I'm just screwing onto the drawer to the back side.
Siren when you need it. The project you neglected. The packet is going to sit all day. If it matters, it's protected.
Your time matters. Your peace of mind does too. At Amica, we make protecting the life you built easier when you bundle your auto and home coverage with us. Get your quote today.
Walmart Plus has never raised the cost of membership. Prime has.
It's me, your skin. I mean, you said the mineral sunscreen, 3 essential ceramides, and NBC technology for pricing so daily to help keep protection in and help prevent heat damage with no white cast. What up, bro? I want to wear.
Now it's finally time to make this thing feel less like a coffin and install some windows. So I bought these windows brand new, which is going to make this process a little bit easier because I have this trim ring for the inside and this cardboard template that makes making the cutout very easy. I measured onto the wall where I want the window to be placed, and I actually designed the framing of the camper specifically for this window so that I don't have to cut through any studs. And then I cut that out with the jigsaw. Now before I pop the window in here, I'm first going to install some butyl tape on it. This stuff just sticks around the inside face of that exterior flange, and this is going to act like the sealant between the window and the camper body and waterproof the whole thing. Butyl is really sticky and stretchy and expandy, so it's the perfect thing for a camper that's moving around all the time. It's going to adapt to those movements and keep the whole thing sealed. Then I can pop the window into its opening, and after I measure to make sure it's square, give it a good push to stick that butyl onto the body. The rest is pretty simple. That interior trim ring sits around the inside of the window, and I use the provided self-tapping screws to screw it in snug. As I tighten up the screws, it's basically sandwiching the camper body and using nothing but friction and the butyl tape to hold the window in place. And now that's changed the entire vibe of the inside. It makes it feel quite a bit more homey. Next, I have this roof ventilation fan, and I'm applying some more butyl around the edge of this and then setting it into the hole that's in the roof. I fasten this in with a bunch of these metal roofing screws, and these have a little gasket on them that keeps the screw from leaking. And then connect it in the wiring on the inside and use the trim plate to cover up the opening. This fan runs on 12 volts, so the wire just runs right down into that fuse box and into the power station. So we're getting down to the last couple things of the exterior here. Next I have this solar panel that I got pretty cheap on Amazon. This is a 150 watt panel. It has an aluminum frame, and I'll be mounting this on the roof to charge up my power station. The panel came with these aluminum Z brackets, so I'm bolting these into the frame. And then I'll be putting a little strip of this beetle tape on the bottom of the foot so that when I screw this into the camper, it'll be waterproof. The panel is pretty large and it's probably going to catch a lot of wind up here, so you want to make sure this is being screwed into the framing, not just the foam. I made a little cheat sheet before I painted this of the measurements of where all my studs are so I could line that up easily. After I plug that in on the roof, inside the power cabinet, I have this adapter that goes from the MC4 solar cable to the XT60 connection that the power bank needs. Now, whenever I finally get this beast out of my shop, the sun should charge up that power station. One last thing on the outside before I move on to finishing up the interior. I have a couple of these RV power plugs that I'm going to install through the wall here right into the power cabinet. I have a male and a female one of these, so the idea here is that I'm going to be able to plug an extension cord into this and charge the power station without having to go inside into the cabinet. And also have this female outlet out here so I can plug in whatever I want and it'll draw power from the power bank. So I used a hole saw to drill the right size hole for my plug, and then I used a bit of caulking around the seal, and then I'm screwing the plug into place. Like I said, there's an inlet and an outlet here, so on the inlet side I'm going to plug in the charging cord for the power station, and then this will just plug right into the back of the power bank. And to power the outlet I can just plug this cord right into the power bar inside here. So now when I plug in an extension cord, it begins charging the power station. And if I plug something into the outlet, I can draw power out of the battery. And that's the electrical fully done, and the exterior 99% done. But I gotta say, this truck camper looks a little funny without a truck. The day has finally come to lift this into the back of the Suzuki. I had to get a little bit creative to lift this up high enough. I used a combination of my little DeWalt floor jack and then this bigger farm jack I bought to lift this up bit by bit on each end before we finally got it high enough to get some sawhorses under there and into the truck. This was definitely a little bit sketchy, but we survived another day. Best guess for this thing right now, not very high enough. All weight of the materials is around 350 to 400 pounds. Which, for what it is actually really light. I mean, it's only 2 meters. And as much as I want to rip this thing down the road right now, there's a little more work to do. Specifically, I need to attach it to the truck so it doesn't get slow at the back. So I've got 4 of these heavy-duty stainless steel telephone latches. I'm going to have to start and figure out where this is going to be placed. I can start fastening these. So first, this metal plate is going to be connected to the truck body. So it's all over the plastic, so it's on the metal with a metal. Then we're going to take the board, and we're going to be using some big parts with some carbon screws. To screw this lock in, hook this in onto the truck body. The toggle portion of this latch is going to connect the camper body directly into the stud. So then I think there's some holes in it, and we can pop and just screw this up. Around these stainless steel screws that I'm fastening there. to hold this building. Four of these in total, one at the front and one at the back of each side. So that should hopefully hold this thing to the truck, but I don't really know. I've never done anything like this before. But anyway, that's the outside fully done. Now back inside to finish up the last two things before I put this thing on the road. First off, I obviously need some cushions here because this isn't a very comfortable bed right now. So I measured that out and then I cut up 2 plywood panels in 1/4-inch plywood to be the base of the cushions. And then I picked up this cheap 6-inch mattress on Amazon that's going to be the cushion with thin cushions. The ends were then a little more complicated, but I tried to fold them as tight and neatly as possible. I also used some hot glue in these seams to hold them together because on my van cushions years ago, this extra fabric wanted to pull out all the time and it got really annoying. So hopefully this fixes that problem. And then I just folded up and got stapled on the bottom too. Think of wrapping a big Christmas present up here and kind of around the cushion.
You've got a limited amount of time and you can't leave this area. Your goal is to score as many points as you can. In Sunset City, we call this free drift. There's no strict rules in races like this. The most important things are angle, speed, and not spinning.
So that works pretty good for the bed, but this bed also doubles as a couch, so I need it back. I don't want to make this a straight slab, but the other cushions are just kind of trapped into a sitting on the angle. So I came up with an idea where I'm going to use some of the extra wood and cut all these pieces with an angle. Slowly moving them out so that I can glue them all together onto the backer board to make this wedge-shaped cushion. Then we got to cut the mattress in the same angle. I thought it was going to be a little bit tougher to do it. And then this mattress will be wrapped the same as the other cushion. The fabric's still a little wrinkly and creased right now, but that'll flatten out over the next few weeks. And that's a pretty good lightweight backrest. I also specifically made this a certain length so that I could take this away at night and put it down in the And now we're on the last step of this build. I need to cover up this subfloor with something a little more finished looking. So I went to Home Depot and picked up this case of peel and stick vinyl that was only $30 and is in walnut color, which perfectly matches the countertop. So take this thing out and work. First impressions driving this are pretty good. The Suzuki is already way underpowered even when it's empty, and adding all this drag only makes it slower, so it maxes out at about 80 kilometers an hour. But other than that, no real issues. Driving on the right side of the car and shifting with the left hand actually isn't that hard to get used to. Now I just need to find a spot to camp out for the night. Our snow literally just melted last week, so everything's still really wet and all the campgrounds are closed. So I'm going to have to just find somewhere I have available to me. My grandma has a cottage about an hour away, so I thought I'd just rip up there and camp out for the night.
America's favorite strawberry yogurt.
I spent pretty much my whole winter on this project in anticipation of this moment. We're getting into my favorite time of year here where everything's springing back to life, and it's nice to finally be outdoors again. I've only used the camper now for this one night, but so far everything's working really good, and it's actually way more spacious than you would think. It's the perfect sleeping spot for one person. Like always, you can get the plans for all my builds for free on my website at drewbuildstuff.com. I also just released this new merch design that I've been wearing throughout this ending, and it's available on the website too for a couple weeks only. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and unfortunately this is the part where I gotta quickly talk about the YouTube algorithm. If you made it this far, you probably like watching this build, so leave me a comment and check out some of my other videos. This is going to greatly help the algorithm know that people are engaged and push this video out to new audiences and help me pay for future projects and newer, better videos. Because with how YouTube works nowadays, if this video doesn't perform in the first couple days, they'll shelf it and it never will. Every video I make takes a ton of time and a ton of money, so if you appreciate that, that's an easy way you can help out for free. Anyway, that's it. See you in a couple months.
Anyway, and I want to make it white. See you in a couple months. Nah, them niggas straight chilling with it. Hot box, nigga. Whatever question. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Drew with Drew Builds, Drew's Auto World. I'm Drew with Drew Builds, Drew's Auto World. I'm Drew with Drew's Auto World. We have vans, camper vans, 90s vans, tan colored vans with a black stripe on top, conversion van. We only have one van right now. But if you come by it, you give me money, and then I can go buy more vans to sell. That's right, some of you might remember this camper van I built a few years ago, and my time with it has finally come to an end. I'm going to be auctioning this off on eBay with a starting bid of $1, so all the details are over there if you're interested, and the link's in the description below.
You Matte? No, I'm Fat Matte. New Fat Matte Smooth Color Lipstick. From black to fat. Fat glide, fat smooth feel. In a clip. This matte is fat. 17 shades. You Matte?
Sound like Transformers, but I don't know which one. We gonna find out. Animated one. It just look like that from down side of that.
Flare B-127.
The bumblebee.
Feel a little traffic? Off the base.
Decepticons.
Autobots, fall back! Get to the tower!
Destroy Launchpad. Let none escape.
Cybertron has fallen. Get to the escape pods. There are other Autobots scattered across the galaxy. We must reach them if we hope to survive.
Optimus, this is our world. We have to fight for it.
We will fight on, but we must find refuge first. I found a planet that's well hidden. Earth. You will travel there and establish a base for us. Once we've gathered the others, we'll join you. You must protect the planet. If the Decepticons find it, then our people are truly finished. Now go. Good luck, soldier. I'll buy you some time.
How he know that motherfucker was gonna be there, yo? That bumblebees.
This is Agent Jack Burns. I need medical up here now. We're in a projectile strike in the northwest corner of the training course. Multiple injuries. Would someone please explain to me why you dropped napalm on your own guys?
Check it out. There are no left pocket drills in the northwest sector.
What the hell hit us then?
I need
a mistake.
Stay cool. Hold your fire.
I don't want to hurt anyone.
Called in the Air Force.
That's not the Air Force. Run.
Did you think you could hide?
God damn.
Did you think you could hide? Bitch. Now your time to leave it. Like your friend. Tell me where your friends are hiding.
I'll let you talk.
Is that a fact? Let's make it
Industry-leading performance.
Wow.
Integrate money. Finishing the lane is just half the job. For you, the real achievement is getting it done right. The ultimate rise of Aqua Run.
Howdy, fellas. Hey, Ted. I got the game. Got the game? Now, where's the rest of the team?
You guys still want to say hi? Alvarado here. How about them?
Wish we had some snacks. I found you berries.
When the connection matters, that's the way to the team.
There's salad. There's bread. And if you want the perfect bite in every bite, try the all-new salad stuffers. Take any Panera salad you're craving and
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. We all used to on stuff. Just F and arrow.
My old insurance company raised my rates, so I started looking around. Allstate made it really easy to switch, and I was able to get better coverage for a better price.
You a racer? So, how about a race? Well, let's see what you can do.
There you go.
Hey, it's Alex. Care for a race, mate. Meet you at the starting line.
Hi, want to check you out. Okay, let's go.
Punk bitch. Nigga, I whoop your motherfucking ass. What was you trying to do, Hammy? Right there at the head, nah, nigga, you play that shit around here, boy. Let me tell you something, man.
That's B-127 signal. Already did. If you will tell us what crime is, perhaps you'll feel afraid. You're a brave warrior. You deserve better death. Set course for Earth.
I'll give you $30 for all. And you took us so much for the whole world. I'm not gonna be here. I know how you're still in there. Just take it.
Why yo?
Yeah.
Deep. Why y'all?
I want the Beetle. Yellow Beetle, I want it. I'll make you a deal. If I get the boost started, it's for me. If I boost started, I keep it and I work here, everything for a year. I'll start with these cars and I pick up and organize and we just wrap the paper into this. I'll even do too. It's my birthday.
My toilets are gorgeous.
Thank you so much. I love you.
She's happy though.
What do you hit?
What was that noise? Nothing. I'm fine. Mom, you should go back to bed. Everything's fine.
What was that? What is that car doing in our garage?
That car. It's my car.
Energy bars are plant-based bars that are made with just really great healthy ingredients. And then through the startup community, that relationship has proved to be really invaluable. I know that I could depend on it too bad to be on my side. There was no way we could make the amount of bars that we needed to sell. We needed equipment, and we couldn't get that equipment. MT has my back.
Nuts on your back. Yeah, back to me, that's right. That's an actual song from back then.
Come on, man. Give me a little bit. You practiced me with my sister. Unsuccessfully? You're unsuccessful at everything. And John paid him for a house. You want a car. How stupid are you? You don't need a car. God. Just settle down for 1 second and just breathe in. What the hell is that? What? God, what? The thing is coming right for us. Not my car, please, God, no, not my car!
Digiflag is even more primitive than I expected. I like the way they pop.
Focus, comrade. B-127's distress signal came from the western coast of this continent. For now, we head west.
See you later.
Where you up to so fast?
Nowhere. Have a nice day. What about... Hey? Yeah, where are you? Have you seen my car? Unfortunately, yes. No, Otis, have you seen my car today? It was in the garage. Someone stole it.
No, idiot.
Come on.
Try to bring Conan to the vet. He swallowed like a rubber glove or something. Ron, you station up.
Thank God.
Wait.
Hi, excuse me. It's me again. We never officially met.
Yeah,
I
I can't right now. Sorry.
No. Yep. Okay.
I know, buddy. Hang in there. You can't eat everything you see. Just let this be a good life lesson for you. Stop it! Don't do that! Hey, no! Charlie, what are you doing? Mom, you gotta pull over. What the hell is going on? Just pull the car over. Okay, okay. Did you put that bumper junk away? Are you idiot? You almost gave me a heart attack. I thought I was being carjacked. I'm taking the dog to the vet. I can't believe you would take him without me. Mom, I'm so worried about him. He's my dog too, you know. What happened to Conan being Otis's dog? Mom, you're being hysterical. Okay, you should not be driving in such an emotional state. I know how you get during emergencies. I'm a nurse. Not a nurse.
Shit, I'm watching them. I don't know. It came out in Bumblebee.
Okay, I'm you weren't.
I'm not that smacked. I'm just got stuck on that part right there. So I never really watched this shit. YouTube just randomly put it on, so I said I'm gonna watch it.
I thought you wanted to see this in here.
Sure.
Yes. Two of them just made contact with Texas. Intel says they're heading west fast.
That makes sense. We're going to Texas.
Shit, we going to Texas. Hell yeah, I seen that trailer a while ago. You know, I be playing that. I got a few of them games, them backroom games. So as soon as I seen that trailer, I was like, yo, it looks just like that. Definitely trying to watch that. Yeah. They got a movie coming out too. I think it's called, what was it called? The Mortuary something assistant. So that was a game too. Well, it's a game. And I seen the trailer for that. I was like, damn. That's on some horror or some crazy, you know. The Morticians, something like that. The Mortician's assistant or the Mortuary's assistant, something like that. Pretty well, you know, you're working in a mortuary and it's haunted. So I know the movie's gonna be crazy. Just on that alone.
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a bunch of them backrooms games, but that one looks like the best one. Like the actual best game.
Purchase and get 2.9% financing for 72 months, plus $3,500 bonus cash allowance on most 2026 Ram 1500 crew cab models. This is Arby's pulled pork.
Arby's.
This is the juicy result of slow smoking meat for up to 30
No, I'm just looking for something to play, but I think I'm just gonna get out the basement. It's hot down here. Nah, Arby's, you ain't got, well, you got some, I like it. I was just about to say, I ain't got absolutely nothing. What the hell? Get out of here with these ads. How do you just know that these cars is aliens? These are non-biological spin route. And just back in the 80s too, how they got all these?
Goal, sir, should be to communicate with them.
They got all this crazy technology already. Man, they about to use too like they did that. The hillbilly.
Listen up, I'm Agent Burns, and this is Rick Powell. We currently have 100 guns pointed right at your head. So state your business.
People of Earth, we are Decepticon peacekeepers patrolling the galaxy. We believe that dangerous criminal from our world is hiding somewhere on yours.
How is it you think we can help?
We need your eyes.
You want access to our satellite?
Our scanner's range is limited. Your infrastructure is primitive. But combined, they could be quite powerful.
No way, out of the question.
We have a common enemy, Agent Burns. There's a war raging on our planet. If B-127 isn't found, that war may find its way here.
Perhaps we can find a way to help one another. We'll talk it over with our superiors. In the meantime, if you could follow us.
Very well, friend. Take us to your leader.
They're kind of stupid though. Well, that dude's stupid as hell. Damn, so many. Yo, that's. Should be alright.
We're surviving.
Oh, little nigga. Man, you smack that little thing up, yo.
Who was that? That voice said something about a war? Do you remember anything? It's the BW beetle. Some kind of disguise. Some hiding place.
Nino Kuni. What the hell? Party hard, king.
Why would you play this? Sorry.
Oh my god, yes! Perfect! Go. Man, you got some moves. You know, the music you have is still feeling. It's brand new. Hey, please don't touch those, please.
T-bone. Burger King.
Satellite network is at the forefront of national defense. Sir, please. It could be a multi-million dollar opportunity. Can you imagine the advances of by a decade? An advance on Washington. New York, an advance on Chicago. It's not going to happen. You know, call themselves Pacific. Enough. Both of them. We tell them no. They'll just take their technology to the Russians. We'll help you find your identity. Let us know. We'll always do it. Gentle. Robot. Welcome to Sector 7. We're real happy to have you here. As friends.
Thank you, Grandpa.
My superior has agreed to grant you limited access to our sector. In addition, you're welcome to use all of our technology here. The largest super radio array on Earth.
We thank you for your hospitality. Tell me, those vocal communication devices you use, do they function worldwide?
The telephones? Yes, why?
Gotta be the station man. I know there's a lot of choices.
Make them.
You're not a nerd, you're not a racist. Okay, you're a nerd, you just don't let us know you're a nerd. It's very hard to
First of all, try. I'm tired.
But I don't hide.
It's been going up and down on that dial all day today, and I don't know why. Hey, check out his reflexes. Oh, oh, God. Oh, oh. Yo, give me your shirt. Oh, give me your shirt. Yes, come on, come back to me. Come on, like, give me your shirt. Hey, no, you need to. Is this anything?
nothing to their species in harmony. It's beautiful. Hello? Hello?
You do need the satellites.
God knows where it is. In the space of a day.
Yeah. The dick on fire. Nah, what the fuck?
So yes, sir. So you have no idea what the hell he's doing?
No idea.
How about all the cops?
What are they gonna do? I don't know. They're just gonna send him away to a lab and do weird science experiments on him.
Nah.
Couldn't get in that radio
Finish
guy.
that part.
DJ Mumble in the house.
Whoop, whoop. Is that why you're always messing with the dial? You're trying to teach yourself how to talk, aren't you?
No way.
Oh my god, dude, you're a genius. You're an actual genius.
What is going on here? That's 216 stereo. Sitting visited. You watch your calendar.
You just sit.
I know you.
Sorry about that.
You were on the diet. I only suspect I made steak a couple weeks ago. Please keep gentlemen. This has got a full operation.
No, what is that? Yeah. This is, I don't care if she a girl, baby, or someone's grandmother. Fucking them up.
Take off your shoes and put your foot in front of the boot. I got this.
Damn, this thing is getting fucked up that whole time. Damn. Nah, yo, he fucking killed that shit. Yo, that shit's hilarious.
That was insane. My heart right now is going crazy.
Stop the car, please.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I mean, I think it's still behind you.
We got a yellow vehicle driving at Stan South through the Pico Tunnel.
I mean, you know, the movie can be kind of corny. It has its moment. There's somebody. One fucking moment. They're just killing motherfuckers too.
Gotta go to work, okay? Listen to me. You need to
another and another and another.
I need you to go to the frozen banana stand and steal some sticks. Sticks.
Let me just sell the hot dogs without the sticks.
No. Where's that location? Near San Francisco. Coastal town.
Goddamn snitches.
You have a personal call.
Huh? Charlie, ain't getting this memo.
You gotta come home right now. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
Where's Bumblebee? What have you done? What were you thinking? What? I told you to hide. Why? Great. Helpful things, Bartleby. I'm not mad. Okay, this
Your smile is your strength.
One last motherfucker. It's getting there, boy.
I started Maspanadas about 7 years ago. The personal attention we have received from MNT has been exceptional. For us, thanking is key and something I don't want to have to worry about. MNT has supported us with everything we need. They actually come to my plants. They understand what we do. They know my team. I am a mom, and this business was created for other moms looking to gym. Together, with MNT, we can take over the world one empanada at a time.
Hi guys, I'm Macaulay Culkin. Welcome to our castle. I've always loved spending time making our house a home, somewhere where my queen and I can just chill out, find peace. Royal Kingdom has really helped me repeatedly step up my game around the house. You know, one second I'm doing chores, the next I'm playing. It's my little system. Well, I live by one wipe, one swipe, vanish, and vanish. Do your chore, beat your score. I've even got phones set up all around, so it's always Royal Kingdom time.
Alright, man. How many times, yo? We did it. Fuck, we did it, yo.
Oh my god! Mom, what happened? Mom, I'm really sorry. This is all my fault. What did you do to my TV? Mom, I can explain. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this later. Right now, I don't know. Are you kidding me? No, you're not going anywhere. It's about my car. It's really important. It's about your car that you spend all day and night shut in that garage doing God knows what. Mom, I can't. I really can't right now. Oh no, you really can, Charlie. You really can. I have had it. Your attitude, you're always sulking around. You brought home that piece of glass without even asking me. Everyone in this family is trying to be happy, but all you want to do is make things harder. You know, Mom, just because you've moved on and you're happy with your new life doesn't mean I am. You found a replacement for my dad and I haven't, okay, and I never will. So I'm sorry if that makes things harder, but in 10 months from now, you won't even have to deal with me. Charlie. I just feel like ever since my dad died, I've been feeling this drain on everyone, and I hate it. It's like everybody expects me to act like nothing ever happened, and it's impossible to do that.
About your dad, I'm really sorry. You know, there's this quote that I like. The darkest nights produce the brightest dawn. Oh, I'm glad I took my time.
Oh, shit.
What's going on?
Take it down! Run! No, don't run! Do not run! Giraffe.
Thoughts? These niggas could just change some fucking choppers and shit, choppers and jets to cars.
No more running. No more hiding. B-127, you're a traitor and a coward. Tell us where Optimus Prime is hiding.
Why isn't he fighting back? Why don't you fight?
Leave him alone, please!
Plugs himself into the goddamn wall with electricity, he charges himself up. But if he gets shocked with electric, whatever the fuck he gets stunned with, there you go. Rasta.
I didn't steal anything. He doesn't belong to the...
See? Yeah, I can assure you it. It's a highly dangerous war machine.
No, he isn't. Okay, now he's not some war machine. I don't know what he is, but he's my friend.
Yeah, not so much from that experience. As understanding what you see. So are you.
No, I'm fine, Mom. I'm completely fine. Okay, you have to believe me, please. I didn't steal anything. Stop. Just go to your room. Let go of me! You took my foot off!
This is fine. Girl, just make yourself at home. He's actually resistant. So, should I explain Frank's like putting her stuff over here? Yeah.
That's where they're keeping it. We have to go. We have to try and see them. I'll take care of it. Wait. Come on. No, Liz. I can help.
Oh, god damn, man. You about to be out with it, piece the motherfucker out, you know what I'm saying? About to make some moves out this bitch. What's I?
Tell us where Optimus Prime and the rebels are hiding, and we can end this war.
Talk. Where's Optimus Prime?
This doesn't